Welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 831, recorded live on April 12th, 2025. And here are your hosts. The man who is hopefully having a happy Passover, Dave Play.
Hello.
And the man who thinks happy is the correct adjective, Andy Lowe. Hi.
So there's kind of a generic rule in Judaism. I hope I can say this without getting in trouble, which is either fast or feast. So many of the holidays are like, oh no, we need to be better people, fast for a day. Or, hey, they tried to kill us, and they didn't, so let's have a feast. So Passover is a feast.
Yes.
So it falls into the they tried to kill us and didn't.
Which is a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
Yes.
Happy Passover is awesome. Yeah, absolutely. You can say Happy Passover.
I was originally saying, like, is that the correct salutation? But salutation is not the right descriptor for that.
No.
No, because that is a greeting if somebody arrives or departs.
Yeah. I would not, for instance, recommend saying Happy Yom Kippur.
No. I know that one.
That's kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
Although, like, Christianity doesn't really have the same kind of... Because, like, for Christians, all the holidays are, like, big celebrations, aren't they?
Well, no, Ash Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday. So would you...
Ash
you go to
Wednesday
someone
and Good
be like,
Friday.
Happy Ash Wednesday?
No, you would not say a happy Ash Wednesday to somebody. And, yeah, Good Friday is also one of the somber...
Okay.
Because Good Friday, like, is supposed to be entirely somber. Like, all the lights are supposed to be gone down. All of the
that's the day Christ died.
Yes. So
And
it is
then
supposed to be
Sunday
a funeral service.
Yeah. Okay. And then Easter Sunday is the like, he's risen.
Yep. And then everything is supposed to go, balls to the wall.
It's a celebration. I mean, all of Lent is supposed to be pretty somber, right?
Yes. All of Lent is supposed to be pretty somber. Yes.
You wouldn't say Happy Lent either.
No.
Happy Lent?
All right. So what? I'm trying to think of. There's got to be a word though that describes things like the correct. Would terminology be the right thing? Like saying Happy Christmas instead of Merry Christmas. That sort of like.
Hang on.
You're asking an AI, aren't you?
Yeah. Or Happy in Happy New Year isn't exactly a greeting or salutation. What is it? Emotional or state modifiers. They are adjectives. There isn't really a term for it. Here we go. Linguistically, they could be considered part of a broader category of optative expressions.
Ooh.
Phrases that express a wish or desire for someone's well-being in a particular context. All right.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So, Christian holidays. So I asked, what are the optative expressions for all the Christian and Jewish holidays? For most of the Christian holidays, like Christmas is merry or happy, Easter is happy Easter, Palm Sunday is blessed Palm Sunday, as is Good Friday and Ash Wednesday.
Really?
Have a blessed Ash Wednesday.
Have a blessed Ash Wednesday. Have a blessed Good Friday.
Yeah, almost all of them are blessed. Yeah, and jeez. For a lot of the Jewish ones, it's happy. Shabbat Shalom, of course. So peaceful Sabbath. For Yom Kippur, the translation effectively is "May you be sealed in the book of life for good," which is kind of weird.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean for us to go down this rabbit hole right away, but I was typing this out for the intro, and I'm like, there's got to be a word for that.
On Rosh Hashanah, God inscribes the names of the righteous in the book of life, granting them another year of life. Fate of those who are neither wholly righteous nor wholly wicked remains undecided until Yom Kippur, which comes 10 days after Rosh Hashanah. During these days of repentance, Jews engage in prayer, repentance, and charity, hoping to influence God's final judgment. Through sincere repentance, prayer, righteous acts, one can alter the divine decree. That is why the greeting, Gemar Chatima Tova, may you be sealed in the book of life for good, is used specifically around Yom Kippur. It expresses the wish the person will receive a favorable final sealing in the book of life for the coming year. Interesting. So, happy Passover, Andy.
Well, it is a happy one actually over here because it turns out I just found out that Western actually won the men's hockey NCAA tournament.
Cool.
So yeah, Western Michigan University is now the national champs for hockey.
Nice. Who won March Madness? I didn't even pay attention. Florida.
Which I picked.
Oh, good for you.
There was one guy though in one of the pools I was in. Let me get you these stats because it's just crazy. All right, that was in Pete's pool.
Whoa! All 4 number 1 teams made it to the Final Four.
Yes, this was only the second time in recent history that that's happened.
Wow!
All right, so here we go. The guy who won one of the pools I was in. Picked 30 first-round picks correct.
Out of 32.
Yes. Picked 15 out of 16 for the Sweet 16, 7 out of 8 for the Elite 8s, 4 out of 4s for the Final 4s, picked the national championship matchup, and picked Florida to win.
So other than screwing up like 2 first rounds, which probably cascaded down,
picked 59 out of 63.
Of 64.
Out of 63.
Damn.
59 out of 63. Like
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Like, okay, look, can I see his bracket? Oh, I can see his bracket. All right, here we go. All right, so
it's just going to be a bunch of check marks.
Yeah. He picked Yale to beat Texas A&M, which they didn't. That was one. The second one in the first round was he picked Clemson to beat McNeese, which they didn't. So those were his 2 in the first round. Let's see, he did semifinals. Oh, he picked St. John's to get to the Elite 8, which they didn't. So yeah, that's what it was. St. John's, Yale, and Clemson.
That's impressive.
That is ridiculous.
That is very, very impressive. Thoroughly lucky.
Yes.
So did he go and buy a lottery ticket afterwards?
With the pool that he was in, probably didn't really need to.
How much was the pool?
$45,000 was his payout.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a nice payout.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay, then.
Yep. All right, Dave.
Yep.
Beverage time.
Uh-oh.
I'm now back up to 5 beverages.
Okay.
Because it turns out there were 2 other colors of Red Bull that I hadn't had.
Thing. No, you poor thing.
Yes. So I've got okay. 1 through 5 now.
1 through 5.
Yes.
Whichever one is physically closest to you.
Uh-huh. That would be the spring edition of Grapefruit and Blossom.
For Red Bull?
Yes.
Do you like grapefruit?
Yes, I do actually like grapefruit. I actually have the crystallized grapefruit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if you were one of the friends I have that likes grapefruit or thinks that it is like a devil spawn.
No, I like grapefruit.
Okay.
I just want to know what the heck blossom is.
Usually blossom would be associated with a thing that it is a blossom of. Like grapefruit blossom?
Okay, with a vibrant blend of pink grapefruit and subtle herbal and floral notes.
That also does not really narrow it down.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, no, there's the grapefruit right there.
Yay.
So where do you stand on grapefruit?
I mean, I have a 8-pack of grapefruit Spindrift downstairs.
Okay.
What is your preferred method of eating a grapefruit?
Oh, you gotta go classic. You just cut it in half, sprinkle a little bit of sugar on the top, and then you just go at it with a grapefruit spoon.
Okay. I peel mine.
And eat it like an orange?
Similar to how you would eat an orange. No sugar. You make an equatorial incision, and then you twist, and the skin comes off. Well, so you make an equatorial incision, and then you have to get the handle of a spoon inside and go all the way around to separate the skin from the flesh.
Gotcha.
And then you give it a twist, and the skin comes off. And then you use a knife, and you can peel back the pith, because you do not want to eat the pith. It is the most bitter part of well, it's not the most, but it is a very bitter part of the grapefruit. And then you just, you crack it open and take out the slices. I tend to not eat the skin around each slice, so I will peel that off and just have the fruit. And it's so good.
Man, I haven't had an actual grapefruit in a while.
Well, they haven't been in season, Andy.
I know.
It's coming up on summer. They will be in season soon.
We'll have to put that on the Meyer order.
Yeah. Although, really, they're not in season until, the fall. But, grapefruit.
Oh, yep. Okay, so I've got both your Chips Ahoy's in there, too.
Woo!
So I will let you know.
Laura is guessing that with a back-to-back taste, you'll be able to tell which one is which.
Ooh, maybe. I don't know. Those gluten-free Oreos, I was going back and forth on those, and I could not tell.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's the same with the Chips Ahoy. I've had some of them, and they are quite tasty. They are very Chips Ahoy-esque.
But I will try and
let me know.
Yep, head to head them. I'll even. Do you dip in milk at all or no?
I do.
Okay.
I have not with these because I have no idea if they will survive. But I tend to have my store-bought packaged cookies with some sort of milk.
Okay, I will also add that to
the test.
To the test, yes.
The CEO of Oreos, milk's favorite cookie. Oreos doesn't have a CEO. Nabisco has a CEO. Yeah, we're here.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think we were going to be here this week,
but here we are.
Yes.
I was actually potentially going to be in Baltimore this weekend. That fell through. We just did not have time for me to get out there and get someone to cover watching Laz.
Ah, I see.
I love my dog. I cannot travel. I don't know what we're going to do with Manistee this year. Hopefully my parents can watch him for the week because we just can't put him in a kennel anymore.
Oh, he's not a fan?
I don't think he'd survive. He's not a fan, and he's 17.
Oh, jeez. He's that old?
He's that old. He's 17, Andy. We've had him for 11 years.
Oh, my gosh.
He just had his adoptiversary.
It was when we picked up Sunday in 6th grade, and yeah, she lasted a while, even after I graduated. So man,
she was an old pup.
Yeah, she was old when we got her. They almost didn't let us adopt her because of her age.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, she got a lot of years out of that.
So
she was such a sweetheart.
Well, speaking of dogs, we can talk about. Did you hear the story about the dire wolf?
The not dire wolf?
Is it not a dire wolf?
No, it is not a dire wolf.
I thought they said that they had done the sequence of the dire wolf.
Yes, they had said that they'd done some of the sequence of a dire wolf. These are not dire wolves. These are gray wolves with 19 what's the word? Not chromosomes. 19 pairs of genes changed.
Oh, okay. So they were. This says there were 15 variants engineered in.
Yeah. So they are 99.999% gray wolf and 0.0001% dire wolf.
Okay.
Now there's some cool stuff that did happen. They did sequence dire wolves. And they've managed to sequence that based on the DNA that they were able to recover and combine, and that's really cool. There's some good science here. There's some good science that happened. They did not bring back a dire wolf. Even if they did bring back dire wolves, that's not a good thing. How long has the dire wolf been extinct?
I think since the last ice age, right?
I think since at least. They've been extinct for 10,000 years. You know what else is extinct?
Woolly mammoths.
the things dire wolves ate.
Yeah.
Like the global like food chain, I guess. It does, like, the global environment does not support direwolf. It has adjusted. They are gone. They did not bring back direwolves. They made some gray wolves look like direwolves.
Okay.
They did do it. Like, they did some genetic manipulation. That's pretty cool. Their idea for, like, we can de-extinct animals is a little, like, can you? Are you sure?
Well, reading this here, if they just were able to do that with just a gray wolf, it's kind of hard to de-extinct an animal if there isn't any sort of very close relative to it.
Laura's pointing out that they didn't even make gray wolves that look like dire wolves. They made gray wolves that they think will look like dire wolves because right now they're just puppies and we don't know what they will look like when they grow up.
That's true. Sometimes you look at those puppies and go,
they're very cute puppies.
What is this going to be?
They are adorable puppies. But, yeah, making the claim that, we brought back gray wolves. No, we didn't. No, you didn't. No one brought back gray wolves. They edited, like, 15 gene sequences.
Yeah, okay.
20 edits in 14 areas.
The spokesman from the company said that imaging of the animal's skeletal morphology will determine what species it resembles during the pup's first annual exam.
Sure. Have you seen what a chimp's skeleton looks like?
It probably looks very similar to ours.
Yeah.
Well, except for the skulls. Yeah.
Like, looks pretty darn close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Have you seen what a rabbit skeleton looks like?
No. Why am I Googling a rabbit skeleton?
Because they look like mice.
What?
They just look like big mice.
That's what a rabbit looks like? Man, that fluff really...
Yup. Now, think about, you've seen a rabbit skeleton, and you know what a rabbit looks like, right?
Yes.
So think about a dinosaur skeleton.
Oh, yeah.
And realize, oh, shit, we don't actually know what dinosaurs look like.
No, that's been actually...
Like, in any way.
That's been kind of interesting. So, Isaac and Megan have been watching, YouTube educational kids sort of things. And it's been fascinating to see what they've done with dinosaurs in the new videos now. Like they showed
feathers.
Yes. Yeah, they had raptors who looked like birds. And I was like, oh yeah, that's...
Because they're birds.
Because they're birds. Which, the other fun fact is the fact that the pterodactyls are not actually dinosaurs.
Really?
Because something about the flying, like the pterodactyls are not... Something about flying where pterodactyls are not actually dinosaurs. They are flying reptiles called
So we're just changing what... Okay, we're just changing what dinosaur, or clarifying what dinosaur means.
Yes.
But let's see. If we look at emu skeleton versus raptor skeleton, they're still pretty different. The jaw is entirely different. The rib cage is entirely different. The neck is entirely different. Dinosaurs have fucking tails.
Okay, so there actually were some flying dinosaurs, but yeah, the pterodactyl is not part of that.
There were flying dinosaurs, but not pterodactyls.
Yes.
Not you. You do not get to be a dinosaur anymore. We have removed you from classification.
Hey, people, when people find out more information, they're supposed to be able to change, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, why are we trying to move the shuttle Discovery?
Well, because Ted Cruz wants to move the shuttle Discovery. Why does Ted Cruz want to move the time?
Because it'll be good for Texas.
His quote is, "It is past time that the Space Center Houston Museum houses a space shuttle, given the unique relationship between the entire program and its support staff in Houston. bringing Discovery, because that's what they want to move. They want to take the Space Shuttle Discovery from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum and take it down to Texas. So bringing the Discovery to its final home will offer hundreds of thousands of visitors each year the opportunity to engage with a living piece of NASA's history and understand why Houston is known worldwide as Space City.
Okay, but like versus the millions of people who see it in DC?
Yes, the people who actually go to the Smithsonian National... Well, it's not actually in the Smithsonian on the mall. There is
the Air and Space Museum?
There is the space hangar in someplace in Virginia. What's the space hangar called? Hold on. Do a little Googling. The James S. McDonnell Space Hangar opened in 2004 and houses some of the space and rock. Yeah, okay, so it's outside of DC a bit. But yes, no, it looks like it's got a lot of things like SR-71s, Space Shuttle Discovery, some actual commercial airplanes. It's probably all the bigger stuff that they couldn't fit on the mall. But yes, no, they want to move it to down to Texas, which would be kind of interesting because the plane that you remember seeing the pictures of the plane with the space shuttle on the back?
Mm-hmm. The 747?
Yeah. Those 747s are no longer flight worthy.
No. So they'd have to like refurbish the 747?
Yes, there was only two of them anyway. There was only two 747s that were modified to ferry the space shuttle across the country.
Right.
They
let them decommission because they weren't going to move the shuttle anywhere.
Yeah. So one is actually on display at Space Center Houston. But yeah, no, it is entirely not flight worthy anymore. And the other is in an air park in Palmdale, California. It has had its orbiter attachments removed. It needs new engines and would have to be recertified to return to flight.
That is... So really just like leave it where it is.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, did Ted Cruz not watch when they moved Endeavour to the California Science Center?
Probably not. Why would Ted Cruz watch that?
Yeah. No, it took 3 days to move. How far did that move? From LAX to... Does it say how far that was? 12-mile road trip. Took a 12-mile road trip on LA roads. Took it 3 days. And cost, I do believe, about $50 million for those 12 miles.
Jeez.
So yeah, so they can't fly it. They would have to recommission airplanes. Have to spend a whole bunch of money to try and move it on the road.
And probably... Well, so if it's not on the mall, like, probably more people would get to see it. I'm not fully opposed to this, just kind of opposed to this, although the logistics make me a lot less in favor of it.
Fun fact is they didn't actually consult with Space Center Houston before actually putting in this legislation.
No, let me guess. The Space Center is like, we don't want this. We have no place for this.
We're learning the details.
We do not want this.
We're learning the details along with everyone else, says the Space Center's Chief Communications and Marketing Officer. We were not part of the development of the legislation, but we welcome the conversation.
How fucking diplomatic can you be? I mean, yeah, we'd be happy to have it, but, like, we did not ask for this. Please don't be mad at us. All of that hardware was destroyed. Awesome.
So, yeah, they're putting in legislation for, I guess, no apparent reason.
Well,
without even asking the people if they wanted it or could even handle it.
Houston led the shuttle program. I mean, yes... They're not wrong on that. Let me put it this way. It's weird that there isn't one in Houston.
Oh wait, how many are there was what, 7
shuttles?
Yeah.
5.
There was just 5?
And 2 of them blew up. Challenger, Endeavour, Discovery, Atlantis, and shoot, there was one more. Enterprise?
Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, Endeavour.
Columbia. All right. Not Enterprise. Columbia.
Okay,
And
so-
2 of them blew up.
Yes. So you're down to 3. One's in D.C., one's in
California.
California, the other one's in New York.
Florida? What's the one in New York doing in New York? Why don't you move that one to Texas?
Does it say where they all are?
Florida. Atlantis is at Kennedy.
Okay.
What the fuck would it be doing in New York?
I thought there was one on the Intrepid.
Oh, there was one called Enterprise. That was the prototype.
Yes.
Oh, come on. I get points for that then. I thought there was one called Enterprise. Yep. Okay. Enterprise is in New York at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum.
Okay.
Yeah, take fucking Enterprise.
Okay, so Atlantis is at Kennedy, Discovery is in Virginia, Endeavour is at California, Enterprise is on the Intrepid. Okay.
Take either Endeavour or Enterprise. Leave Discovery where it is.
Yeah, you gotta have one down at Kennedy. I mean, that's just a given.
Right.
You gotta
and
have-
honestly, I think that Endeavour should stay in California. That's where you have JPL. That's where you have a bunch of the research facilities. That's where you have a bunch of the test facilities.
There's also isn't that where they always landed, was in California?
Yep. I will also say I think Atlanta has a good case to make for claim on it too.
I'd love to hear your
Isn't that where Command is?
No, most of the time Houston is where the actual command center is.
Okay. There was something was in Atlanta because that's where Space Camp was.
No, Space Camp is in Alabama.
It's in Alabama?
Yes, in Huntsville. I
Huntsville,
went there.
Alabama.
Well, no, I didn't.
Oh,
I
well,
didn't go to Space Camp, but we went to
I
go
went
visit.
to the one. Okay, I went to the one in California.
Yes, the Huntsville, which is Rocket City, USA.
Okay,
Is-
so I take it back. Not Atlanta.
Yes, no.
Huntsville has a good claim on
Yes, Huntsville also does have one of the Atlas V rockets. Well, we think a full mock-up and one of the Atlas V rockets. Which, man, that was just driving up there and you see the rocket in the distance. You're like, hey, what's that? And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger. Yeah. So as I said, I agree. It's weird there isn't one in Houston.
Yes.
At the same time, leave them where they are.
So yes, I will agree with you. Okay, yes, you need one in Kennedy.
Put an Apollo capsule there or something. Like, come on, when you think of the space shuttles, you don't think Houston. When you think of Houston, you don't think space shuttles, you think Apollo 13.
Yes, you do.
Put like a Saturn V there.
Oh, it turns out the space shuttle landing site was actually at Kennedy Space Center, using Edwards as the primary alternate.
Wait, isn't Edwards the one in Nevada?
Edwards is out in California.
What's the one near Hoover Dam? Nellis. I'm thinking of Nellis Air Force Base.
Oh.
Why do I know these things? I was outside today and someone asked me like, so how do you know to do all this stuff? When I was like churning over some soil to mulch it with some of the leaves that I mulched today, or like I was putting up strings for the raspberries. And I'm like, I don't know. I learned basic agriculture somewhere along the way.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we've got other
topics.
other space news specifically.
Other space topics.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Speaking of launching, we talked about a few months ago, I think, or was it last year, where NASA teamed up with SpaceX to basically launch a satellite super fast.
Okay.
Do you remember that? Whereas they basically
like
just
really short term.
yes, they pulled it out of storage to launched in less than 5 months.
Vaguely remember that. Yes.
They wanted to do a test for that. Well, that was supposed to be on a ULA rocket.
Uh-huh.
But Space Force is like, hey, we want to try this rapid response thing, see if this works. And it did quite well. And I guess there is a GPS satellite that was also supposed to get launched on a ULA Vulcan rocket, but the Vulcan is taking too long. So Space Command has said that they are now going to move it off the Vulcan and launch it on a Falcon 9.
SpaceX.
And they're going to try and beat the rapid response timeline.
Meaning they're launching it, what, like next week?
They're going to try and launch it within 3 months.
All right.
So this is now twice that Space Command has pulled a rocket off of ULA and given it to SpaceX.
Well, a payload.
A payload, yes. They've pulled
They
a
didn't
payload.
pull the rocket. The rocket is the whole point of it.
Yes, they pulled the payload off of a ULA launch and gave it to SpaceX.
Bezos must be fuming. Isn't there like something about like cronyism in that, like nationalize SpaceX? Nationalize SpaceX. I recently saw a thing saying like, hey, by the way, this is kind of depressing, but like, by the way, all the things that you progressive liberal person have wanted, that's long gone. Like, that's not gonna, anything that you thought you had a chance of getting, you are not getting for at least another 30 years.
Yep.
So yeah, my dream of nationalizing SpaceX, that's just not going to happen now. We'll be lucky to have NASA.
Yeah, well, especially since we had talked about the NASA budget. We had talked about the rumors about how much Trump was planning on slashing NASA's budget. And it wasn't as bad as the rumors talked about, but it was pretty damn close.
Mm-hmm.
According to the documents given to NASA officials this week, they are calling for approximately 20% overall cut across the board to NASA.
20% cut?
20% cut, top line, going from 25 billion down to about 20 billion. But that is not an equal cut to all groups.
Of course not.
The science programs will receive nearly a 50% cut in funding.
Of course they will.
So, yeah. So out of that 5 billion cut, let's see, the science divisions are going from 7.5 billion down to 3.9 billion. So that's a majority of it right there.
Yep. Jesus Christ.
Yep. 2/3 cut to astrophysics, a greater than 2/3 cut to heliophysics. Sure,
because why do we need to watch the sun and understand how the sun works?
Yep.
It's not like it could have massive repercussions for our communications infrastructure.
God. The amount of people who don't understand how much the sun just messes with long-range satellite communications.
Why would it? It's so far away, Andy.
It's so powerful with its radio spectrum emissions that it just blows it out of the water.
Nah.
The kicker, though, which is super annoying in my opinion. So, budget says that it will continue support for ongoing missions supports continued operations of the Hubble and James Webb Space Telescopes and assumes no funding is provided for other telescopes.
Aren't they already working on the thing that comes after Webb?
Yes, the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, which is already fully assembled and basically set up on budget for a launch in 2 years.
I feel like we'd need to fund that.
Basically, you've already built it. It's all set, ready to go. But no, this would
put it in storage for a while. It's fine. Look, I can just go rent a shed and we can just put it in there and we'll get back to it. We have to work on, on securing our borders and bringing jobs back.
Mm-hmm.
But also automating the plants that they bring back so that, they're more efficient so that things can be cheaper.
Yeah, this whole thing about bringing jobs back and then, how much is that going to cost?
Well, it's worse than that.
Yeah.
Because what it's going to be is even if they bring the plants back,
the people are not.
They're not going to bring the jobs back.
No.
Because the plants are going to be modern, fully automated whatevers. So the idea of an assembly line worker is just not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now I made myself sad.
Yep.
I was looking at jobs in Ann Arbor.
If I remember correctly, I think Department of Homeland Security was looking into stuff in Washtenaw. I don't remember exactly what it was.
DHS?
Yes.
Yeah,
DHS
that's
was
exactly who I want to work for right now.
Yeah.
Totally. Would love to work for DHS right now. That would be... No!
No, what were they doing with Washtenaw? They were doing something.
What? The county or the college?
Department of Homeland Security serves immigration enforcement subpoena to Washtenaw County.
Huh.
So yeah, have served the county board with an immigration enforcement subpoena and a notice of inspection of I-9 forms.
Probably for Ann Arbor? That seems like a really small potatoes kind of thing, though.
Yeah. Well, that just seems a little weird and very specific.
Yup.
Okay, so other space news that was going on. Earlier in the week, Jared Isaacman, who is the nominee to be the next NASA administrator, had a 3-hour committee hearing. Asked him a lot of questions. A couple of them were about the SLS. And he basically was kind of interesting because he had the crew of Artemis 2 in the room with him. And he is he's committed to Artemis 2. And what did he say about he'd be willing to fly Artemis 2 and Artemis 3 missions as conceived, given that much of the hardware is already built. But basically anything else after 3, he was very non-committal about. And he was also asking, why is it taking us so long? And why is it costing us so much to go to the moon? Since he pointed out that his private Polaris Dawn flight right now, it remains the farthest humans have flown away from Earth since the Apollo program.
Yep.
And they did it last year.
Yep. Why is this taking so long? Because you keep cutting funding.
Well, that and the SLS.
And the SLS is a piece of shit that should have died 8 years ago.
Yes.
But Congress won't let it die.
Nope.
Has he gone to Congress and said we should let this die?
Well, no, this was his hearing, and people in Congress were poking him, going like, "What are your thoughts on this?" But yeah, no, literally having the crew of Artemis 2 sitting behind you is a little. I don't know if he brought them or if they just decided to show up.
Decided to show up. I mean, what kind of image is that? Were they supportive of him? Were they like, what? Cruz opened the hearing by stating his priorities for NASA clearly and explicitly. Most focused on ensuring the United States does not cede any of its preeminence to China in space. Why are we worried about this?
Well, we you know what we actually need to be worried about with China in space?
Trash.
Because it turns out when we in the United States launch something, most of our stuff
of the time comes back down.
Well, yes, we purposely design our second, because these are multi-stage rockets, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, especially with SpaceX, first stage comes and lands. The second stage, though, basically, once it's done with its payload, orientates itself to burn back up in the atmosphere and land in the that spot in the Pacific where all the spacecraft go to die.
I love that there's a spot in the Pacific that they've just designated as like spaceship graveyard.
Yes. Where spaceship? Is it spaceship graveyard? Point Nemo. Point Nemo is I think one of the most remote locations in the Pacific. Yeah, Point Nemo is the place. So we set them up to, splash down. China does not, it seems.
China's just leaving them up there.
Yes.
Because it's expensive to bring them down?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
China just gets the second stage up there. It launches its payload, and they do nothing with it after that. And so China, once again, is also trying to build their own low Earth orbit constellation.
Yep.
So on top of Kuiper and Starlink, China's now doing theirs.
Don't forget, I'm sure, yeah.
Is Russia doing a constellation?
I was about to say, like, don't forget Russia's. And then I'm like, wait, are they? But I'm not sure. Probably.
Oh, Sfera, S-F-E-R-A. Telecommunications project of the Russian Federation aiming to create and operate a satellite group maintaining communications to various terrestrial objects. The initial plan proposed 640 satellites by 2030.
They got 5 years.
Yep. So, yes, I guess Russia is doing one of theirs as well.
Yep.
But yeah, no, China is planning some ridiculous amount. How many are they planning in here? 1,000 plus over the next several years with a planned total of over 10,000 satellites.
Jeez.
Now, normally, if they're low enough, if they're only around 600 kilometers into space, if they don't
They have an orbital lifetime of what?
25 years, if they're at 600 kilometers.
And where are they putting them?
The last Long March 6A and 8 series rockets, their orbits are around 720 to 780 kilometers.
Significantly higher than 600 kilometers.
Yes, with an orbital lifetime of greater than 100 years.
Gonna trap ourselves.
Yep.
We're gonna trap ourselves, and we're gonna break all the satellites, and then we will ask, was it worth it? As we revert to the, 1940s. It's gonna be really bad for all those places where they tore up the copper lines.
Well, they'll probably just do something like AT&T's long lines, probably.
Sure, but Andy, do you know how much data is when you go and load a web page?
Oh, there's so much data now.
Do you know how big web pages are now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I found this out because when we lost power, we didn't do anything with the tablets or anything that first day, but the second day the kids were already starting to get a little rambunctious. So I turned on my hotspot, and the kids turned on their tablets, and we blew through about 2 gigabytes in a couple of hours.
Yep. I mean, forget YouTube videos. That's just never going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Video content, streaming content, nope.
Yeah. No, we blew through my 2 gigabyte hotspot like that. And it's just like, okay, let's not do that again.
Yep.
And then I just turned on, I turned on my work hotspot.
Yeah.
And, because I needed it for work and, just so happened to have other things in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe this will convince companies to have finished products when they ship it though for software, because you can't do a 80 gigabyte patch.
Nope.
When we're back on phone lines because satellites are not existent.
That could be. I have a feeling they're not going to change until they're forced to.
Andy, the scenario I'm proposing is a modern day apocalypse. I don't think you understand how bad it would be for all the global communication networks to just go down.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that stuff would just be run through the fiber under the sea rather than over the satellites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think the fiber under the sea is going to be up to it?
That's the excellent question.
Uh-huh.
Well, do you want to end on some good news? Well, some goodish news?
Sure.
Okay, so
Give me goodish news.
the National Library of Congress every year adds some more recordings to the National Recording Registry.
Okay.
So this was started back in 2000. Registry now has 675 recordings on the list.
Makes sense. 25 recordings per year, 25 years.
Yep. This year, let me find this thing. Okay, so the Library of Congress person in a statement said, "These are the sounds of America, our wide-ranging history and culture. The National Recording Registry is evolving our nation's playlist." The oldest recording on this year's list was Aloha-i, which was recorded by a Hawaiian quintet in 1913, which was before Hawaii became a state.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's a sound of America. They have the 2015 cast album of Hamilton, and they have no joke, the Microsoft Windows reboot chime from Windows 95.
Boom, bloom, 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 bloom.
Yes. Turns out that was actually composed and recorded by Brian Eno.
I don't know who that is.
From the Beach Boys.
Okay, I know who those are.
I think he was from the Beach Boys. Now I'm just doubting myself. Hold on. Oh, not to be confused by that. Okay, never mind. He's not. He's a British songwriter. And the Minecraft soundtrack got added this year as well.
Oh, nice. I've been meaning to listen to that, honestly. I've heard good things about it.
Yes, no, it's not bad. They used a couple of the songs in the Minecraft movie, which I could talk about.
I mean, once we get there, sure.
Yes. So there's some fun things added to the National Recording Registry this year. And then some people in Japan 3D printed a railway shelter and had it built in about 6 hours.
Yay. Good for them.
Which normally would take, according to them, months. And now in one overnight team, assembled the pre-made bits, which actually got delivered to the railroad station on the train. So
Wait, what?
The train that was carrying the people was also carrying the parts for the railway.
For the stop.
For the stop, yes.
So they just stopped the train somewhere and, unloaded it.
For the actual railway stop, yeah.
Okay.
But that was kind of neat. All right, should we hit the randoms?
Yeah.
Okay. I am hijacking the random review because I just got back today from seeing a Minecraft movie. The
Minecraft movie.
No. A Minecraft movie.
Did you not see the Minecraft movie?
No, the Minecraft movie is a Minecraft movie.
Yes, I know. It's about Minecraft.
Who's on first? I don't know. Third base. No,
sorry. So the Minecraft movie titled a Minecraft movie.
Yes. That is
because people are like, what?
Yes, the name of
why
the name of the Minecraft movie that just came out this couple weeks,
starring Jack Black.
Yes, is called a Minecraft movie.
Okay, that's a dumb name for it.
I do have to say though, the kicker that I love is the fact that people online are saying, oh, if they do a sequel, they should call it another Minecraft movie.
Minecraft movie. What do you want to go see? I want to go see a Minecraft movie. Oh, we don't have that. We have another Minecraft movie. Third base.
Yeah. Well, they probably will try and make a sequel because it's already.
Of course, they'll make a sequel.
It's already made 434 million worldwide against a budget. Of course,
they're going to make a sequel. Although, from what I've heard, they blew a lot of their references load right away.
Yes, they did.
They tried to put everything in there that they could.
The movie started with the Java loading screen.
Okay, that's cute.
Yes, the movie started up, and there you see the little swirl getting bigger, and it says loading terrain, and it's just okay.
That's pretty adorable.
Yes.
Was that unironic, or was that it zooms out and it's that's part of a computer screen someone's playing Minecraft?
No, it was just that they just put it on there and then just popped up to the movie. So they started the movie with the loading screen.
I love that.
The story, part of me just kept on having to try and remind myself that this is supposed to be a kids movie. So the story was not
good, present.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yes. The plot was a little confusing. There was a lot of things that weren't it's okay, we have a bunch of these little things from the game. Let's see if we can try and just smash them all together and sort of get a story out of it.
Yeah.
And I feel
the goal of the movie was to cram in as many references as possible.
Yes.
So that they could make as much money as possible.
Yes. And I feel like somebody told Jack Black to be the most Jack Black that he could be,
Yeah?
because Jack Black was just it was a little crazy-eyed Jack Black the whole movie.
I do enjoy Jack Black being Jack Black. He's a pretty good Jack Black.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of him in that movie. And then Jason Momoa kind of tried to out Jack Black, but the two of them it was an endless loop that just kept on getting faster and faster, and the two of them together, it's just like, oh my gosh, somebody needs to separate you two. You two need to sit in opposite corners. But no, it was the plot was all over the place. It was basically just fan service for a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, for goodness sakes, they even had a good 15-20 seconds of a Technoblade. I wouldn't say, because it's not a cameo, but they did make a tribute / reference to Technoblade in there. Is
Technoblade a person, place, or thing?
Person. He was a YouTuber.
Okay.
He was diagnosed with cancer in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so he passed away June 2022. So there was a lot of tributes to him.
I see.
He had his main YouTube channel had about 11 million subscribers. So
that's a lot of people.
Yep. So they put a reference for him in there, and that was very obvious.
In a good, tasteful way?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not highbrow cinema, I'll just tell you that. This is definitely one of those movies where I kind of just shut my brain off for a bit and just watched. Isaac loved it. And I'm like, well, this is a kid movie that the kid who plays Minecraft loves, so they nailed it.
Yeah. The Target demo.
Yes, I'm watching the Target demo sitting here, going crazy during most of it, except for the parts that weren't in the Minecraft world. The entire time he's just sitting there going like, do we have to watch this part of the movie?
Can't we just skip forward to when they're in Minecraft?
Yeah, that was basically his thing. It's like, why aren't they in Minecraft yet?
Because they have to get there.
Yeah. There was a whole also subplot about a villager who had escaped into the real world that was entirely pointless.
Kids movie stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah. At least I do have to say that our screening of it had not the over-the-top reactions from the crowd.
Say that again?
There's been people who have been basically trying to do a Rocky Horror Picture Show for the movie.
Mm-hmm. And I heard something about that with the chicken jockey.
Yes, where at one point somebody had actually brought a live chicken to one of the screenings.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Emotional support chicken?
I don't know. I was just glad that none of the there were some people who were in the audience clapped during some of the
the references.
Yes.
I get it. That's why I know that joke. They wrote that for me.
Yeah, but no, none of the screaming or throwing popcorns or anything else. So
okay, cool. So as a kids movie,
it worked. It worked on my kids.
Okay, so as a kids movie, it works. As a Minecraft movie,
there's lots of fun little references. Part of me, though, having played Minecraft, went, that's not how that works.
Actually,
yeah, there was a bit of my head going, actually, that's not how that works. What? No, that's not how that works either.
Yeah, I did see online, someone put a picture of the Minecraft house, and they put a grid on it, and they're like, if you know, and once you see it, you won't believe it. Where it looked broken. It looked like it was an impossible build. But then the comments filled up with a bunch of people going no, that's fine. That's just an upside down staircase.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, if you build this and this and this and this and do this and this and this, then it looks like that. It's totally a legit build. And you're like, what?
Yep. Remember correctly that the movie's crew had their own private Minecraft server, basically on set.
So that they could make it in the game and then be like, okay, that's what we need to make.
That and, the people were just, playing the game to keep themselves immersed.
Nice.
Supposedly, Jack Black built this huge mansion on the server.
I love that.
So, Yeah, no, it was good. It served its purpose.
It served the purpose that you need it to serve,
Yes.
which was to entertain your kids for an hour and a half.
Yes, he was very excited for it. Got up early going, when are we going to go see it? When are we going to go see it? I'm like, the film's in like 2 hours to go back to bed. But no, if you're not a Minecraft fan and you do not have children, then it's going to be very weird. So
I should not go and see this movie.
I'm not sure how much fun you would get out of it. I'm not sure if it would be worth.
Never played Minecraft.
Having never played Minecraft, I'm not sure how much.
Okay, but how is it as just a Jack Black movie? Like, rate it on
It was okay.
Kung Fu Panda, School of Rock, Jumanji 2. Where is this?
It's not up where Jumanji is. Jumanji, I loved those. I loved him in Jumanji and Jumanji 2.
He wasn't in Jumanji. He was only in Jumanji 2, right?
No, he was in the first Jumanji. Well, not the Robin Williams Jumanji.
That's what I was thinking. Was there a third Jumanji?
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you not seen the third Jumanji?
I don't know if I have. I'm thinking of the one with Dwayne The Rock Johnson
Yes.
and Kevin Hart.
Yes. They did a sequel with that whole cast over again.
Why? Oh, with like the grandpa.
Yes.
Okay, I did see some of that.
Okay, yeah, with Aquafina.
Sure. Maybe.
Okay.
I probably saw it, yeah. Jumanji and Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, and yeah.
Yeah, like Jumanji The Next Level, I think is what they called the sequel.
Yeah, it was the next level. It's the same four, but they were playing as very different people from the real world.
Yes. Part of me, I don't know. To me, I feel like it would be me trying to go in and thinking, oh, Jack Black's in like Nacho Libre. And then I tried watching Nacho Libre and I went, okay, it's not the greatest movie. It's an okay movie. So I don't know.
So where does a Minecraft movie fall compared to Nacho Libre?
I feel like it's like on that Nacho Libre level. So it's not his best work, but it's not top level Kung Fu Panda, Jumanji, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Right. So random topic rolled ahead of time. What things do you do when you are passive aggressive?
Try not to be.
I'm not very passive aggressive with people. I don't have time for that shit.
You're like, I'm flat out actual aggressive.
Well, I'm not really aggressive, period, unless somebody, goes against me, and then it's just like, dude, I don't have time to be passive about it.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to be passive aggressive because it's just kind of, it's not a good way to communicate. Probably pout more than anything. Like, I handle it silently and get sarcastic.
Yeah, part of me would be like, okay, if I was trying to be passive-aggressive with somebody, I would just act like they do not exist. Or, if I had to contact them, I would not contact them directly. I would be like, put them on a CC on the email.
Yeah, CCing is probably the most passive-aggressive I get. Of like, hey, like this person, including this person as FYI.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to loop this person in on this thing just because we really got to get this ball rolling or something.
Yeah. I try not to be passive-aggressive. And I think that's one thing I do when I am passive-aggressive is I try to recognize it and try to not be that.
Yeah, no, like I said, I just don't have time. So I'm either not aggressive or I'm all-out aggressive, which that is a very rare thing to see. So
yeah,
that would be my answer on that one.
All right.
So on that news, that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.